Bookended by the softness of the dawn and dusk, the sun on the Peaks and Plateaus ride shone hard. At times, Mick and I sailed along bitumen and graded gravel roads. And at times, there was less pedalling than expected. The landscape was reliably stunning, but some of the riding was an acquired taste.
We started the 169-mile Peaks and Plateaus route in Moab, planning for a 3.5-day outing. Despite now being fair weather climbers, the giant sandstone walls of Bears Ears National Monument got our fingers twitching, bodies remembering times when it was the rock instead of the road that took us travelling.
Well, it's day one, riding through the canyon for most of the morning. Starting to gain a bit of elevation now above the canyon. The riding's a lot of fun. A few ATVs around and 4 drives on the track. Pretty glad we're doing it midweek rather than the weekend.
After a morning of sharing the gravel with 4-wheel drives and ATVs, we started down Lockhart Basin Road. Immediately, the trail climbed out of the valley. We did our first hike-a-bike of the trip and gained enough altitude to marvel at the red expanse of the valley below. Lost about probably only 50 mil of water today, enough to be useful in the desert, and so we're going to use it by putting one of our wipes for washing in the water. After breakfast with a cheeky guest, we once again hit Lockhart Basin Road, aiming for the water drop that would make the ride possible. Once again, that sun, it was bright.
So we just picked up, about 10 litres of water from friends who are out climbing at Indian Creek. So feel a bit confident for the next day and a half now until we get to the store. A bit of road riding today and hopefully we cover a fair bit of distance. Big day, just over 100k. It's definitely like about 6:15, so we got in pretty late. Set up camp, do a few bike things, eat some food, and I reckon it will be a early night. Well, I've got a lot of crap on the bike today, literally. That's 2 days worth, and it weighs a bit more than you think.
first sidewall tear of the trip. Sealed up pretty quick, but lost a little bit of air.
LaSalle store provided the only food top-up of the trip, microwaved gourmet lunch from the freezer and nutritious snacks. A few hours later, we set up camp overlooking the mountains. After 3 days in the desert, we were filthy, hungry and content. Packing up on our last day of riding in Utah, we thought we were in for a cruisy half day of riding. But the fun was only just beginning.
So we've just started our last day of riding in Utah. We're heading back to Moab. We've got about 40k to go. Really looking forward to showering ice cream and salad. With 2 options for the final 17 miles, an easy gravel road or the Steelbender Jeep track, we opted for Steelbender. As well as being part of the plotted GPX route, the track was described as scenic, with 2 notable obstacles called the Wall and the Fall. We thought, how hard could it be? We're just hiking our bikes, mostly up Steelbender track or trail.
We got the impression after a few miles that maybe we would have been better off in a different type of vehicle. Then the tear in my sidewall reopened and I couldn't get it to hold air.
Round 3, put a plug in it, spat a bit of sealant out, I think it's got it now.
In 8 years of bikepacking, I'd never needed to put an inner tube in on a trip. 3 tyre plugs, a small bottle of sealant and only 6 miles to Moab. The record stood.
So I snapped my brake lever off, dropping my bike on a rock. It still works, but I've just got to be careful not to amputate my finger on the sharp edge. Lucky for Mick's MacGyver skills. Look, it was kind of like taking your bike for a rock climb or a scramble rather than a bike ride.
Did you enjoy it?
No, not really.
What type of fun was it?
Oh, look, I think it will probably end up being type 2 fun, but you'll have to ask me after I've had some lunch. After a shower, food and coffee, type 2 fun was declared for Steelbender, with Peaks and Plateaus a pretty damn fine ride overall.
If you really like this content, please like, subscribe or comment. Catch you next ride.